Hi friends, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ev. Today is actually a Knits and Babbles. Knits and Babbles is a podcast type video where we talk about everything that we knit up during the month of September. It's episode 9 for the 9th month of the year. I just realized that. Today I am wearing my Marseille sweater, which was knit up with yarn that I got from Kensington Prairie Farm. It is this lovely brown yarn with some blue flecks in it, and then I paired it with a fingering weight wool yarn, and that is true. I'm holding a Drops Kid Silk Mohair with the brown. It is a lovely soft brown, and then the white is just the yarn alone. If I remember correctly, I had to hold the white double to get the same thickness as the brown was, because the brown was a thicker weight and the white was a fingering weight. But you don't really tell the difference between the feeling. I don't know. The white also doesn't have a fuzz, but that is not why we're here today, because today we are here for cast-ons, cast-off, acquisitions, and all things knitting related. And stay till the very end, because in this video we will be announcing a winner for the giveaway. So my first knit that I just casted off literally the last day of September, this lovely sweater. So this is a man sweater. It's not for me. But this is a sweater that I knit up for my boyfriend. The pattern is the In Stillness 2. There is an In Stillness 1, but that is the same pattern, but for women. This one is the men's version. Gorgeous raglan sweater that is knit up top down and then with raglan increases, and then it does have a really nice broken rib stitch on the front panel and the back. One alteration that I did do for this knit is I actually doubled the length of the front panel, because in the image it looks like this to about the arm length, and that is what I did because the pattern actually indicated me to kind of stop. I think it was here, like halfway, and it didn't really look like the image, but I think that's because when it was graded and scaled up to a larger size, this is a size between an XL and a large. I think the pattern just didn't maybe call for enough like repetitions. Looked at some of the knits that other people made, and some people do have a really thin bar and some people have a thicker bar, so I guess depending on how you knit it, that is something to take into consideration. My boyfriend did try it on when we were there, and we both felt like it wasn't, like, basically it's kind of like it was just like a panel like this brown right here, but we wanted it to be about halfway up the chest. I thought that is what made it look closer to the sample knit. I knit basically between the XL and the large. Knit in the round, you pick up for the collar, bind off the collar, and just your staple typical ribbed, very simple sleeve with Italian bind off. And the sleeve border rib is the same length as the hem rib. This pattern does call for German short rows, or just your typical short rows. One thing that I picked up last weekend from Knit City and I think is a cute addition is this cute little tag. Hopefully you guys can read it, but it does say "Don't Shrink." And I thought that that would be a really, really cute touch. Because the panel, the back and the front panels are really similar, I thought that it would be easier to tell the difference. Like, I can tell, but I don't want him to put it on and then be like, oh, this is the back, and have to change it. I do need to wash and block it. This is literally straight off the needle. All the ends are weaved in. Just wanted to give it to him for his birthday just in time. So that is the only knit that we finished this month, because I was very into, that was my main goal, to finish it for the month because it was his birthday. On to my current whips now. This one has been shown quite a few times. It is, in fact, my Moby Sweater. So this is a pattern by Petite Knit, just like the Marseille sweater is a pattern by Petite Knit. So this is a beautiful pattern that is knit back panel, pick up for the shoulders, connect to the front, knit the front, and then connect and start in the round. So I have just connected at the armhole and started knitting in the round, so I'm there. This is being knit up with Drops Charisma and Drops Kid Silk Mohair, which is yarn that I picked up from Wool Warehouse. It is in this lovely kind of beige gray color. So now you're probably telling yourself, Ev, this is the exact same thing that you showed last month. And no, it's not. This is an entirely new one. This is the one that I showed last month. So this is where we are at. We basically swapped, literally swapped where we were. So this is how much I had last month, and like we swapped basically. This is the old one, this is the new one. Let me explain. So basically last winter I started and casted on the Moby Sweater with this exact yarn, and I put it to the side and I didn't continue it, didn't knit it, and something just felt off about it. A month ago I decided to cast it on again and start it up from scratch, you know, get a clean go and really progress in it. And I think that that has really motivated me to keep working on this. Originally, I was knitting it on 6 US, which is 4mm needles, and now I decided to go up a size. The reason why I decided to go up a size and use US 7 4.5mm is because Drops Charisma is a DK weight yarn. And the pattern calls for a fingering and a mohair together, which makes a DK weight. So this one, which was knit on 6, is pretty tight and pretty dense of a material. But if I went up like 0.5 of a millimeter needle, this one, I feel a difference. But I measured and it's about 1/2 inch longer on the sides. That's all, that's the difference. It's just like a little bit wider, which I don't mind. I kind of wanted it to be a loose fitting piece. So that is one difference that we did, and I think it just feels a lot more airy and nicer. I am knitting the extra small, or the small. I think I'm knitting the small. And I think it's basically just gonna end up being like a sweater kind of like this one. Not too big or oversized, but yeah, that's my goal. So far I really like it. The cables are a little bit tricky and the pattern is a little bit tricky. It was a bit hard, I think, because I changed needle size to get the front and the back, because you knit the panels, you knit the back panel first and then you knit the front panel and then you connect in the round and keep going. I had a really hard time getting my last row to measure with the front row while having the front panel be, I think it's like 10 centimeters longer or something like that. And that was a little bit tricky to get just because I forgot which row I had initially stopped at the back. It says to write it down. I thought I did, and I guess I didn't. But we figured it out after many undos and redos, and we now have about 1 inch at the underarm. I'm just gonna finish knitting this, but the next project that I want to talk about is a brand new cast on that I casted on, I think like 3 days before Knit City. I was like, we're gonna go buy yarn, but let's start brand new projects and forget the fact that I'm gonna want to knit up the yarn I just bought. So this is another pattern by Petite Knit, and it is a design that I talked about in my things I wanted to cast on for the fall, and it is the Novice Cardigan by Petite Knit. I just finished the third part of the increases. So this is what it looks like right now. This is being knit up with some lovely Knitting for Olive mohair. This is the first time I'm using this mohair and I absolutely love it. Look how fluffy and pretty. This is the marzipan color. Of course I wouldn't be wearing this over another chunky wool. Oh, it looks so cute. I've never knit a mohair only knit. It's just so lovely and so pretty and clean, and I really wanted a nice light colored fluffy overlay piece. Just did the last row of increases. I have a couple more inches to knit up, and then if I'm right, I think that that'll bring us to the armhole separation. I think I might start making more mohair only knits. So it's not raglan, so you do the rib border and then you do increases equally spaced out throughout. Knit a couple rows, another row of increases equally spaced out, knit a couple rows, and then another, and that's how you do the increases. This is typically the way you increase when you would do a color work project, so that it evens out as you do a round yoke, but it is a cardigan, so there is 1 knit, 1 purl row, and you go back and forth. Oh my god, this looks so nice on camera. And then we have, now this one is a project by myself, and it is, so this is a swatch that we knit up during the month of August, and it is being knit up with Kensington Prairie Farm yarns. It is a alpaca, linen, and Surrey silk yarn. I decided to make a sweater vest. So this is a pattern by myself, and as I'm designing it, I'm starting it bottom up so I can figure out the shoulders and how to do that, and then I might reverse it to write the pattern. It is in this lovely stitch. So this is a stitch from my 280 Japanese lace stitches. I really liked it, and I had knit up the stitch for a different project, but I didn't end up using it. So we're using it in this one, and I think that it really works well with this yarn. This is it spaced out, and when it blocks, it's gonna be hopefully more like this. Now it kind of just scrunches up together. This, I know it looks small, my needles are small. If you guys know me, I like to knit with a really small cable. It's hard to show. I'm just undecided about if I'm gonna do a round collar like this or have it more of like a wider piece. I'm hoping that by the time I get at the armpits to separate for the armholes, I will have figured out what I want to do for the collar, and that is why I decided to start at bottom up, just because I wasn't too sure what I would do at the top. I kind of wanted to see what the full body shirt would look like and then decide if I wanted thin straps with thick rib or thin rib, bigger straps, or you know, mix and match. Another pattern that I talked about in my goals for fall and what I want to knit up, and it is a pattern from the lovely 52 Weeks of Shawls. Now this is a book by Len Design. The pattern that I'm knitting up is the autumn shawl. I am actually knitting it up for the very first time, Lang Cashmere. So this is a yarn that was gifted to me by my mom. It is 100% cashmere wool. It runs 25 grams, 115 meters the skein. It doesn't say how many yards. It is a lovely little gray. I started the shawl on Thursday and we are now Monday. Again, if you know me, see, this is what I mean. Short cable. It's a long project and my hair is all over it. This is a lovely kind of gray blue cashmere yarn and it is super, super soft. Right now I am just doing the knit and purl rows, and then there's this very interesting lace detail around the hem, but basically more than half the shawl is just knits and purls. So another reason why I chose this shawl, so here are more photos. First off, it takes DK weight, and this yarn is DK weight, and then it only takes up about 400 to 600 yards, or 370 meters to 560 meters. So there are two sizes, but people did make an in-between size over on Ravelry. I saw like where they increased and how it worked out, and I think that that's what I'm gonna do because I have more than 400 yards, but I do not have 613 yards of this one. Oh my god. Yeah, some of them take up like a lot of yarn. Kind of embarrassing. Ooh, my ends were showing. My unsewn ends were showing. I'm embarrassed. The other ones take up like 900, 1,000 yards. So this one was one of the shorter shawls in the book. So this would be my first shawl of the year, which is very, very exciting. So we have 4 projects to be knit up this month. Let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can finish 1, maybe 2. We're not gonna finish all 4, but let's see how much we can do. Hopefully we can watch a lot of horror movies or Halloween movies. I actually really like thriller films and suspense movies, so hopefully we can find some good ones. If you guys know any good horror or thriller movies, link them down in the comment section below. I'm really curious as to what is your go-to Halloween movie. So now onto the stash busting portion of the video. So I have my Notions app right here with my accurate yarn count, and let's see, we started off the month of September. On September 2nd, we had 203 skeins of yarn. We went down from 203 to 199 basically with the yarn that I needed for the Stillness sweater, and then we went to Knit City, and I knew that I would make quite a few yarn acquisitions, but I thought I would make more than I actually did. Turns out we only got 22 skeins of yarn. Since then we've done quite a lot of damage since last weekend, which I'm kind of proud of myself. We casted on the Novice Cardigan, and then we casted on the shawl, the Autumn Vibes Shawl. We got down to 215 skeins in 1 week. So basically we are starting the month of October with 215 skeins, seeing as how in September I barely did a scratch, but it is pretty much because I knit a lot on my Moby Sweater. That was already yarn that was already counted as used up. I'm pretty excited. We'll see how much we can do during the month of October, and then we'll see how much we can do before the end of the year. Hopefully we can get this number down. I don't really anticipate buying more yarn. The only time I will let myself buy more yarn is if I run out of yarn for a current project. For acquisitions, I'm not going to talk about the yarn that I picked up at Knit City because I have 2 full videos dedicated just to that. So I will link them up above and down below, and you guys can go check those out. In those videos I talk about my experience at Knit City, the yarn I purchased, what I plan to knit with it. I do want to post a little update about one of my Knit City acquisitions, and it is about my Turkish spindle. So if you guys watched that video, you guys know that I bought myself a brand new Turkish spindle from Crafty Jaks boutique. It is a lovely spindle and I've been having a real pleasure spinning on it. Now there's one foolish thing I did. I had put it on the couch and then I sat down and I broke it. I broke the spindle. I broke it 2 days after getting it. I broke the stick basically, and I feel really, really silly. And people were saying maybe I can glue it. So I do plan on getting some crazy glue or Gorilla Glue or something and try and glue it. But in the meantime, what I have been using and I have found out is a chopstick. Funny enough, the chopstick fits perfectly well in the spindle, and it even has little divots. So when I wrap the yarn around at the top, it holds like pretty well. I can place it like different lengths around the top. It fits really well inside the spindle. So I have been using a chopstick. So this is how much yarn I've spun lately. I think this is about an hour and a half of spinning, so it's not too much. But this is a lovely roving from Fiber Goddess, hand dyed. And it is 80% South American wool and 20% viscose. And it was a 4.9 ounce roving. So this is it. It is a lovely kind of lime green with some white flecks, which I did realize, I guess this makes tweed yarn. So this is it spun up. You can kind of see the white flecks. They just kind of like chill and hang out in the yarn and don't really spin, don't blend in. They kind of stick out. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to make some really lovely tweed yarn, and I'm very, very excited. But yeah, I did want to show you guys a little update on my Turkish spindle journey, because just be careful where you sit. I know some people have sat on their needles, broke their needles, you know, sometimes, I don't know. Has had one of the legs actually broken. I don't think I would have been able to, like, it's still balanced now and it still spins really, really well. So had one of these broken, I don't think I would have been able to keep using this. So I'm really, really glad. So people are still leaving comments for the video, but I did say that the giveaway would be in my next Knits and Babbles, which is right now. So we're gonna refresh. And just as a reminder, this is what is being given away. It is a lovely sock set from Sunday Fiber Co., the barefoot sock set, and the colorway is abalone, this lovely gray and orange with a very cute lilac. If your comment is selected, please message me over on my Instagram. My Instagram is in the description. DM me, and we will get in contact there and figure out how to mail this out to you. I'm sorry if I butcher this, but the winner for the giveaway is actually Charlotte Courtney 1470, and her comment was, being Canadian, I love to watch Canadian YouTubers and love to see local dyers and sources. It would be amazing to attend Knit City one of these days. Your yarn choices and projects are spot on. Love them. I began knitting in 2004, bought the Stitch and... Can I say that on YouTube? Book by Debbie Stroller. I knit blankets, hats, and scarves. I eventually got to knitting socks and sweaters years later. Now I'm obsessed and a complete yarn addict. I want to knit all the things, and I hope you do. If you're watching this, please message me over on Instagram or over on Ravelry. I check that out every once in a while. So I know you couldn't go to Knit City, but congratulations on winning some Knit City yarn. I think that is it for the yarn portion of the video. You have one more acquisition, and it's not a knitting one at all. I just wanted to share it with you guys because it is kind of chilling there in the background. I bought myself my very first musical instrument, ukulele. I currently don't know how to play this, so I will be practicing. I hope to practice a little bit every day and hopefully can play a song at some point. So right now I am having a hard time figuring out the notes and doing the switches between the notes. So I'm going to be practicing that and then the strum, and then hopefully at some point soon I can play a little bit of a song or figure something out. But yeah, I did just want to show you my very first musical instrument ever. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was a lot of fun, and maybe someday we can play our own little outro. That would be really, really cute. But anyways, hope you guys have a lovely, beautiful day. It is raining here, and I will go sit on my couch and knit. Bye.